Do you ever listen to Americans speak and think, wow, they sound so relaxed, so natural, so confident? Maybe you've studied English for years, but when you try to speak, it still feels slow or a little forced. You're not alone. Today, I'll show you how to sound more natural, more fluent, and more like an American, step by step. You don't need a perfect accent. You just need to understand how Americans really talk and how you can practice it every single day. So, stay with me till the end. You're going to love this one. Before we start, I just want to let you know that we upload English learning videos every single day to help you speak more fluently and confidently. So make sure to subscribe, and let's jump right into today's lesson. Let's begin with something simple. Imagine you walk into a coffee shop in New York or Los Angeles. The barista smiles and says, "Hey, how's it going?" Now, if you learned English from books, your first instinct might be to answer, "It's going well, thank you, and how are you?" Grammatically correct, right? But in real life, Americans rarely speak like that. You'd probably hear, "Good, how about you?" Or even just, "Pretty good, you." That's the American rhythm, short, friendly, relaxed. It's not about perfection, it's about flow. So let's practice together. Repeat after me slowly. "Hey, how's it going?" Now say, "Good, how about you?" Again, "Hey, how's it going?" "Good, how about you?" Perfect. Notice how it feels lighter when you speak this way. Less pressure, more connection. That's what American English is built on. Connection over perfection. Another example. In many languages, people say, "Hello" very formally, but in American English, greetings change depending on the situation. You might say "hey" to a friend, "hi" to someone you just met, and "what's up" to someone close to you. And guess what? "What's up" doesn't. It actually mean, "Tell me what's happening right now." It's just a friendly hello. The right answer is usually simple, something like, "Not much, just chilling," or even, "Hey, what's up?" Back again. Let's try that one together. I'll say, "What's up?" and you answer naturally. Ready? "What's up?" Say, "Not much, you?" Again, "What's up?" "Just hanging out." Very good. That's how Americans keep the tone easy and friendly. Now, one thing many learners struggle with is how fast Americans speak. It sounds quick, but it's not just speed, it's rhythm. Americans often link words together, drop sounds, and use contractions. For example, "I am going to" becomes "I'm gonna." "Do you want to" becomes "d'ya wanna." "What are you doing" sounds like "what you doing." These are not slang. They're simply the way spoken American English flows. Let's take "I'm gonna" as practice. Say it with me. "I'm gonna grab some coffee." Again, slower. "I'm gonna grab some coffee." Now faster, like a native. "I'm gonna grab some coffee." Excellent. You see, it's not lazy speaking, it's natural connection between sounds. Americans use this connected rhythm to keep their sentences smooth and easy to follow. So if you want to sound more American, focus less on each word and more on how words connect together. Try saying, "What you doing?" instead of, "What are you doing?" Try, "Wanna come?" instead of, "Do you want to come?" It's all about relaxing your tongue, softening the edges, and letting the words flow naturally. Let's do a mini practice together. I'll say a normal sentence and then the American-style version. You repeat both. Sentence 1, do you want to watch a movie? Now, American style. Do you wanna watch a movie? Again, do you wanna watch a movie? Great job. Next one, I am going to call my friend. American style. I'm gonna call my friend. Repeat. I'm gonna call my friend. Perfect. Now, what are you thinking about? American style. What you thinking about? Try that. What you thinking about? Excellent. This kind of listening and shadowing practice is one of the best ways to train your ear and your mouth at the same time. Don't worry if it feels strange at first. It will become natural with repetition. Americans grow up hearing and using these patterns every day, so your goal is not to memorize them, it's to feel them. Let's take a moment to talk about how Americans express emotions in conversation. In American culture, tone and attitude are just as important as words. When they say, "That's awesome," or "No way," or "Really?" they're expressing feeling, not just meaning. So if you want to sound more natural, try adding a bit of energy to your voice. For example, instead of saying, "That's good," say, "That's awesome." Instead of "Really?" say it with curiosity. Really? This small emotional touch makes your English sound alive. Let's try a fun exercise. I'll say a sentence, and you copy the feeling, not just the words. I got the job. You say with excitement, "That's awesome." I lost my wallet. You say with empathy, "Oh no, really?" It's raining again. You say with a friendly sigh, "Ugh, seriously?" You see, it's not just language, it's connection. Americans speak with emotion because it makes the conversation feel real. Now, here's something interesting about American small talk. It's friendly, but often short. You might hear conversations like this. "Hey, how's your day?" "Good, just busy." "Yeah, same here." And then it's done. You don't always need a long answer. Short and natural responses show comfort and confidence. That's why American English can seem so effortless. People value a friendly, relaxed tone more than long, perfect sentences. Let's practice short answers. How's work? Pretty good. How was your weekend? Not bad. What are you up to? Just studying. You're doing great. Keep that rhythm and flow going. Remember, fluency isn't about speed. It's about comfort. You don't need to rush. You just need to sound at ease. When you practice, imagine you're talking to a friend, not taking an exam. That mindset changes everything. Here's a little trick. Americans often use "you know" and "like" as softeners. For example, "It was like super busy today," or "You know, I was thinking about taking a trip." These aren't always necessary, but they make your speech sound more casual and relatable. Just don't overuse them. A few here and there make your English sound natural, not nervous. Let's do one more mini conversation for rhythm practice. I'll speak first, then you repeat after me with the same tone and pace. Hey, you free later? Yeah, what's up? Wanna grab dinner? Sure, sounds good. Perfect. That's exactly how a short American exchange feels. Light, easy, and friendly. All right, take a deep breath. You've just practiced your first set of natural American conversation patterns. From greetings to rhythm to short answers, you're already sounding more like a native speaker. And before we move on to our next section, if you're enjoying this lesson, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more daily English practice. It helps so much and keeps us motivated to make more lessons for you. Now, let's keep going. In the next part, we'll explore how Americans use small expressions, tiny words and sounds that carry big meaning. These are the secret keys to sounding authentic in everyday conversation. Ready? Let's go. All right. Let's talk about those tiny words and sounds that Americans use all the time, the little ones that make their speech sound so natural. These are what I like to call the secret glue of American English. They hold the conversation together, fill small pauses, and help you sound more relaxed and confident when you speak. Let's start with one of the most common, yeah. Not yes, but yeah. Americans say yeah much more often because it sounds casual, friendly, and easy. For example, yeah, sure, or yeah, I know. You can even stretch it out for emotion. Yeah if you're unsure, or yeah if you're excited. Practice saying it naturally, not stiff or flat, but light and smooth. Yeah, sure. Yeah, totally. Feel how your voice drops a little at the end. That's the relaxed American rhythm. Another common one is uh-huh and uh-uh. These are short but powerful. Uh-huh means yes. Uh-uh means no. But they're not words you see in writing, right? They live in spoken English. Try saying them with the same tone Americans use. Uh-huh. Yes. Uh-uh. No. The difference is all in the tone. You can use uh-huh when you're listening too, just to show you're following the conversation. For example, I went to the store and it was packed. Uh-huh. Then I saw my old teacher. Oh, really? You see? That tiny sound shows you're paying attention. That's something Americans do a lot. They show engagement with short reactions instead of long sentences. Now, let's practice a few of those reaction words together. Repeat after me. Oh, really? No way. Seriously? That's crazy. Wow, that's awesome. I know, right? Good. You might notice that Americans often add emotion even when they're talking about something small. It's not drama. It's warmth. They use tone to keep the conversation alive. Let's do a small exercise to help you feel it in real time. I'll say a short story, and you respond naturally with one of these reactions. Ready? I was stuck in traffic for 2 hours this morning. You might say, oh no, seriously? My dog ate my homework. You could say, no way. I got free tickets to a concert tonight. Say, that's awesome. That's how Americans keep conversations moving, with small emotional responses that show interest. Now let's talk about how Americans soften their speech. You might notice they often say things like kind of, sort of, a bit, or maybe, even when they don't need to. It's a polite way to make a sentence feel friendly or less direct. For example, instead of saying you're wrong, an American might say, I think you might be kind of mistaken, or, I'm not sure about that. This doesn't change the meaning, it changes the feeling. It makes it less sharp, more comfortable. Let's practice softening sentences together. Say, you're late. Now make it softer. You're kind of late. Say, that's wrong. Softer. I think that might be a little off. Say, I don't like it. Softer. I'm not really a fan of it. You see how it instantly sounds more polite? That's the American way of being direct, but still friendly. Another feature you'll hear constantly is, you know, and I mean. Americans sprinkle these into conversations to buy time or to sound more natural. For example, it was, kind of weird, or, it's not that bad. These little fillers don't add meaning, but they make your English flow. Just don't overuse them. Too many can make you sound unsure. But a few? They make you sound human and relaxed. Try this one. I was gonna call you, but I got busy. Or, it was, a bit awkward. Great. Keep them light, not forced. Like seasoning in food, just enough to add flavor. Now, one of the most interesting things about American conversation is how flexible it is. You can sound polite, excited, curious, or chill, all just by changing your tone or expression. Let's play with tone for a minute. Say really 3 different ways. Excited, really, bored, really, sarcastic, really. See how one word can mean totally different things depending on how you say it. That's the beauty of spoken American English. It's not about vocabulary size. It's about how you feel the words. Now let's switch gears for a moment. Americans love casual expressions, short phrases that carry big energy. You'll hear, no worries, you got it, totally, awesome, cool, for sure, and sounds good everywhere. Each one means something slightly different, but all are friendly. For example, no worries means it's okay, don't stress. You got it means sure, I'll do it. Totally means yes, absolutely. Sounds good means that works for me. Cool can mean okay or that's nice. Let's try a mini practice round. I'll give you a sentence and you answer like an American would. Hey, thanks for helping me out today. You say, no worries. Can you send me the file later? Say, you got it. Do you want to grab dinner after class? Say, sounds good. Did you like the movie? Say, yeah, it was cool. Perfect. You're doing exactly what Americans do, keeping it simple, clear, and friendly. Another American habit is using contractions naturally. Americans almost never say, I am, you are, or they are in full. Instead, they say, I'm, you're, there. Contractions keep your rhythm natural and fast. Listen to the difference. I am not sure versus I'm not sure. The second one feels smoother, right? That's why contractions are everywhere in daily American speech. Let's practice contractions quickly. I am happy becomes I'm happy. You are right becomes you're right. They are coming becomes they're coming. He will go becomes he'll go. She would like to help becomes she'd like to help. It is fine becomes it's fine. And one that's very common, I would have, becomes I would've, or even I woulda. That's how fluent speakers shorten their speech without losing meaning. Now, remember, it's not about copying every sound perfectly. It's about listening, repeating, and feeling the flow of the language. When you start paying attention to rhythm instead of just grammar, your English becomes alive. Let's do another small, real-life practice scene. Imagine you bump into a friend downtown. Hey, long time no see. Yeah, it's been forever. How have you been? Pretty good, just busy with work. You? Same here, just trying to survive Monday. Ha. I know that feeling. This is real American conversation. Short, friendly, fast, but warm. Notice that people respond quickly with short phrases. No long explanations unless needed. That's what makes the exchange sound smooth and effortless. You can practice this rhythm anywhere. Talk to yourself out loud, mimic movie dialogues, or repeat what you hear in podcasts. The key is consistency. Speak every day, even for 5 minutes. The more your mouth gets used to these sounds, the easier they become. Here's a trick I give my students. Choose one short phrase a day and use it naturally. Maybe no worries, or sounds good, or you got it. Use it in your daily speech or even in your thoughts. You'll be amazed how quickly it becomes part of your natural speaking style. Now let's talk about American intonation, the melody of speech. Americans often end sentences with a little rise in tone when they're being friendly or informal. For example, wanna come goes up slightly at the end. It sounds inviting. If you say it flat, it can sound serious or even cold. So, when speaking casually, try lifting your tone at the end just a little. You coming? Sounds good? Ready? These rising tones make you sound open and approachable. On the other hand, when you finish a thought or make a strong statement, your voice usually falls down at the end. I'm done. That's fine. Let's go. This down tone shows confidence and completion. Try to notice this pattern in American movies or shows. The up and down of the voice creates that smooth, friendly rhythm. All right, let's take another short practice break. I'll say sentences, and you repeat them with the right tone. Wanna come? Up tone. Let's go. Down tone. You ready? Up tone. I'm done. Down tone. Perfect. That's the American sound. Clear, friendly, expressive. As we move forward, remember, speaking like an American isn't about sounding American. It's about communicating comfortably, connecting easily, and expressing yourself naturally. You don't have to change who you are. You just add rhythm, tone, and warmth to your English. Take a deep breath. You're doing amazing so far. We've already covered natural greetings, reactions, softeners, contractions, and rhythm, all the building blocks of real American conversation. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into small talk, storytelling, and how Americans keep conversations flowing smoothly without running out of things to say. This next part will help you sound confident and interesting in any situation. Ready? Let's keep going. Let's dive into one of the most important skills in American conversation: small talk. Now, a lot of learners think small talk means talking about unimportant things, but that's not true. In American culture, small talk is a bridge. It's the friendly path that connects strangers, coworkers, or neighbors before a deeper conversation starts. It's not about the topic, it's about the feeling you create. Imagine you're standing in line at a cafe. The person next to you smiles and says, "This line is always long, huh?" That's small talk. It's short, light, and friendly. You don't have to respond with anything deep or personal, just something that keeps the connection going. You could say, "Yeah, every morning it's the same," or, "Totally, I'm just trying to wake up first." That's it. It's quick, natural, and warm. Let's practice that feeling together. I'll say the first line, and you respond like a friendly American would. "This weather's crazy today, isn't it?" You might say, "Yeah, can't decide if it wants to be summer or winter." "Traffic was awful this morning." Say, "Tell me about it." "I love your shoes." Say, "Thanks, got them on sale." See, you don't need a long answer. Just a short, friendly one with a bit of personality. Small talk usually happens in everyday settings. At work, in the elevator, at the grocery store, at the gym, even at school. Americans use it to make situations feel more comfortable. Silence isn't bad, but small talk helps people feel at ease with each other. And remember, you don't have to be funny or smart. Just genuine and kind. That's what people remember. Now, one thing that makes Americans sound so fluent during small talk is their use of follow-up questions. Instead of just answering, they keep the rhythm alive. For example, if someone says, "I went hiking last weekend," an American might say, "Oh, nice. Where'd you go?" Or, "That's awesome. Was the weather good?" These short, curious questions keep the energy going and show real interest. It's a simple trick, but it makes your English feel instantly more natural. Let's do a mini practice. I'll say a statement, and you think of a follow-up question. "I just got a new job." Maybe you say, "That's amazing. What do you do?" "I'm planning a trip next month." Maybe, "Oh, where to?" "I watched that new movie last night." Maybe, "Oh yeah? How was it?" See how easy that is? It's not about big vocabulary. It's about curiosity. Now, let's move into storytelling, one of the most charming parts of American conversation. Americans love telling stories, even short ones, to make their conversations more interesting. They might tell you about something funny that happened at work, a travel experience, or something weird that happened at the grocery store. Stories make conversations memorable because they invite emotion and connection. When telling a short story in English, think of 3 parts: what happened, what you felt, and what you learned or found funny about it. For example, So I was at the store yesterday, and this guy accidentally grabbed my cart instead of his. I didn't realize until I got to the checkout and saw his groceries, and there were 10 cans of cat food. I don't even have a cat. We both laughed, and it totally made my day. That's a perfect example of how Americans share small, real moments with a light, funny tone. It's not dramatic, it's relatable. Now you try. Think of something simple that happened to you recently. Maybe something at work, school, or while traveling. Try describing it like you would to a friend. Keep it short, warm, and real. Remember, the goal isn't to impress, it's to connect. Americans also love adding small expressions to their stories to make them sound more natural, like, you know, guess what? And then, so anyway, and the next thing I knew. For example, so anyway, I was walking to work, and the next thing I knew, it started raining like crazy. These small connectors help your story sound alive, not robotic or memorized. Let's practice storytelling rhythm. Repeat after me. So, guess what happened yesterday? You won't believe what I saw today. The next thing I knew, I was running in the rain. So anyway, that was my morning. Great. When you speak like that, you sound lively and engaged, like a real part of the conversation, not just a listener. Another thing to notice is how Americans balance talking and listening. They don't just tell stories, they invite reactions. They might say, "Have you ever done that?" Or, "You know what I mean?" Or, "Can you imagine?" These little invitations make conversations interactive instead of one-sided. Try using them next time you talk in English. It instantly makes you sound friendlier and more confident. Let's do an example together. So I went skydiving last weekend. Can you believe it? I was terrified, but it was amazing. Have you ever done something crazy like that? You see how that invites the other person to respond? That's how Americans turn short conversations into real connections. Now, let's talk about transitions. How do Americans move from one topic to another smoothly? They use small phrases like, "By the way," "Speaking of," "That reminds me," and "Oh, before I forget." These help shift topics naturally without making the conversation feel sudden or awkward. For example, "By the way, did you hear about the new cafe downtown?" Speaking of travel, have you ever been to California? That reminds me, I need to buy a new suitcase. Oh, before I forget, happy birthday. See how simple that is? These transitions make your English sound relaxed and effortless. Let's do another small challenge. I'll give you a sentence, and you connect it with one of those transition phrases. I love Italian food. You might say, "Speaking of food, have you tried that new pizza place?" I went shopping yesterday. Maybe. That reminds me, I still need to get new shoes. I called my mom this morning. Maybe. Oh, before I forget, how's your family doing? Perfect. That's exactly how natural conversations move from one idea to another in English. Now here's something important. Americans don't just talk, they also react with their body and voice. Of course, since we're focusing on audio, let's think about voice reactions. When someone says something funny, you can respond with a light laugh or a warm, "That's so funny." When someone shares something sad, you can say, "I'm sorry to hear that." It's about showing emotion with your tone, because emotion is what builds human connection, even in short conversations. Let's practice 'em. Optional tone now. Friend, my flight got delayed again. You say, "Ugh, that's the worst." Friend, I finally finished my project. You say, "Nice, congrats." Friend, I didn't get much sleep last night. You say, "Oh no, I feel you." Friend, I'm going to the beach this weekend. You say, "That sounds amazing." Perfect. You're learning not just to speak English, but to live in it. Now here's a quick reminder. You don't have to speak fast to sound fluent. American fluency comes from rhythm, not speed. It's better to speak slowly, but with natural tone than to rush your words and sound stiff. Remember, connection first, perfection later. And just in case you're new here, if you're enjoying this lesson so far, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more daily English practice. It helps the channel grow and lets us bring you more lessons like this every day. Now, before we wrap up this section, I want to share a little mindset shift that helps my students sound more like native speakers. Don't just study English, play with it. Try using new expressions in fun ways, even when you're alone. Talk to yourself, record your voice, mimic your favorite actor, or repeat what you hear in American shows. The more you play, the more natural you'll sound. You're doing great so far. We've covered small talk, storytelling, transitions, and emotional rhythm, all essential to sounding like an American speaker. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into how Americans express opinions, agree or disagree politely, and keep conversations friendly even when they don't share the same view. This is one of the most powerful parts of communication, learning to express yourself clearly and kindly. Let's keep going. Now let's talk about one of the most valuable skills in conversation: expressing your opinions clearly and politely. Americans value open communication, but they also value kindness and respect. You can totally disagree with someone, but the way you do it makes all the difference. It's not about what you say, it's how you say it. In American English, when people share opinions, they often start with softeners. Instead of saying, "You're wrong," they might say, "I'm not sure I totally agree," or "I see what you mean, but I think." These little phrases keep the conversation friendly and show that you're listening, not just arguing. They help you sound mature and respectful. Let's practice a few together. Repeat after me slowly. I see what you mean, but I think there's another way to look at it. I'm not sure I totally agree, but that's interesting. That's a good point. I just see it a little differently. I get what you're saying. Perfect. These are the magic phrases that make you sound confident and considerate at the same time. Now, on the flip side, when you agree with someone, Americans often express it with energy or small reaction words. Instead of a flat yes, they'll say exactly or totally or yeah, for sure. It shows you're emotionally engaged. For example, I think it's better to work in the morning. Yeah, totally. I feel the same way. Coffee is life. Exactly. People should take breaks more often. For sure, that's so true. Those little words add warmth and rhythm to your voice. Let's do another practice round together. I love sunny weather. You say, same here. I hate waking up early. You say, tell me about it. I think learning English should be fun. You say, absolutely. Great job. You're starting to sound like someone who grew up speaking American English every day. Now, one thing Americans do really well is expressing disagreement without creating tension. They use tone, humor, and soft phrasing to keep things positive. Let's imagine this example. Someone says, I think pineapple on pizza is the best. You could respond, I'm not sure I'd go that far, but hey, to each their own. You see, it's friendly, it's light, and it ends with a little humor. That's what keeps the energy warm even when you don't agree. Try a few with me. I don't think that's true becomes, I'm not sure that's totally true. I disagree becomes, I kind of see it differently. You're wrong becomes, I think it might be a little different. I don't like that becomes, it's not really my thing. See the difference? The second versions sound friendlier and more flexible. That's how Americans naturally communicate disagreement in a positive way. Here's another secret. Americans love using the word maybe or probably to make their opinions sound open, not final. For example, maybe it's just me, but I think mornings are the best time to study. It's probably not for everyone, but I like working from home. Adding maybe or probably keeps your tone soft and thoughtful instead of pushy or absolute. It's a subtle but powerful difference. Now, let's practice expressing opinions casually, like a real conversation. I'll give you a topic, and you try to answer naturally in your head or out loud. Do you prefer coffee or tea? You could say, probably coffee. It just wakes me up better. Do you think social media is good or bad? Maybe. It depends. I mean, it's great for connection, but it can be kind of distracting too. Is it better to live in a big city or a small town? You might say, I guess it depends on your lifestyle. I love the energy of big cities, but small towns are peaceful. Notice how each answer has a calm, open rhythm, not too formal, not too fast. That's the key to sounding American, clear, balanced, and friendly. Here's something interesting about American culture. People often use humor to lighten disagreement or tension. A simple joke or smile can change the whole energy of a conversation. For example, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree. Unless you buy me pizza, then I'll agree with anything. It's playful, not serious. Humor in American English doesn't mean making people laugh all the time. It's about keeping things light and easy. Now let's look at how Americans politely change the topic or move away from uncomfortable discussions. They might say, anyway, or let's change the subject, or on a lighter note. For example, anyway, how was your weekend? Let's change the subject. This is getting too serious. On a lighter note, have you seen that new show? These small phrases make you sound natural and emotionally intelligent. like someone who knows how to keep conversations positive and balanced. Let's do a quick exercise together. I'll say something a bit serious, and you practice changing the topic politely. I've been so stressed about work lately. Maybe you respond, "Yeah, I hear you. Hey, by the way, did you try that new cafe near the office?" This week has been so busy. Maybe, totally. Anyway, what are your weekend plans? See? That's how Americans keep things flowing without sounding cold or rude. It's friendly redirection. Now, let's talk about a little trick Americans use all the time. Uh-huh. And right as listener feedback. When someone is speaking, Americans nod, say, uh-huh, right, yeah, or gotcha to show they're listening. It's like verbal body language. Without it, a conversation feels flat. For example, person A, "So I was driving home and this deer jumped in front of my car." Person B, "Oh, wow, really?" "Yeah, right. That's crazy." It's those tiny reactions that make you sound natural and interested. Let's practice a short dialogue rhythm together. You'll just repeat the listener parts after me. Uh-huh. Yeah. Totally. Right. Oh, wow. No kidding. I hear you. Perfect. Keep those handy. They make you sound like a fluent, active listener. Another thing that makes American conversation flow is empathy, showing understanding through tone and short words like, "I get it," "I know," or "that makes sense." For example, "I've been feeling tired lately." "Yeah, I get it." "My boss is really demanding." "Ugh, I know what you mean." "I'm nervous about the test." "That makes sense. Everyone gets that way." These short phrases show emotional understanding, which is a huge part of communication in American culture. Now, let's combine everything, opinion, empathy, and connection, into one practice scene. Imagine you're chatting with a friend about travel. "Friend, I prefer traveling alone. It's more peaceful." You. "Yeah, I get that. I mean, I like traveling with friends, but solo trips sound relaxing too." Friend. "Totally. You can do whatever you want." You. "Exactly. No schedules, no waiting for anyone." Friend. "Still, it can get lonely sometimes." You. "Yeah, probably. I guess it depends on your mood." That right there is a natural, flowing American-style conversation, respectful, friendly, and real. Now, before we move on, I want to share something important about speaking with confidence. Americans often sound confident because they use simple words but deliver them with energy and clarity. It's not about big vocabulary. It's about believing in what you say. Try saying this with me. "I can express myself clearly." "I can speak with confidence." "I can connect through English." Feel how that changes your mindset? Speaking English isn't just about grammar. It's about trust in yourself. Take a deep breath. You're doing amazing so far. You've learned how to agree, disagree, express your opinion, and listen actively, all in a natural, friendly American way. In the next part, we'll explore real-life conversation settings. How Americans talk at work, at cafés, in casual hangouts, and even in slightly awkward situations. This will help you practice the tone, rhythm, and vocabulary that real people use every single day. Let's keep going. You're doing great. All right, now let's step into real life. You've learned the rhythm, tone, and patterns of American conversation, but how do people actually use these in daily life? Let's explore a few real situations you might find yourself in. A coffee shop, the workplace, a casual hangout, and even those slightly awkward moments we all experience sometimes. Let's start with the classic American setting, the coffee shop. You walk up to the counter, and the barista greets you with a friendly, "Hey there, what can I get started for you today?" Notice the tone. It's cheerful, casual, and warm. You could respond, "Hey, can I get a medium latte, please?" Or, "Hi, can I get an iced coffee with oat milk?" Americans often say, "Can I get?" instead of, "May I have?" It sounds natural, polite, and everyday. Then the barista might ask, "For here or to go?" You reply, "To go, please." They say, "No problem, it'll be ready in a minute." You might add, "Thanks so much." They'll smile and say, "You got it," or "Have a good one," and you answer, "Thanks, you too." That's the rhythm, friendly, short, and always with a touch of warmth. Now, let's practice that together. I'll play both sides. Just repeat after me as if you were there. "Hey there! What can I get started for you?" "Can I get a medium latte, please?" "For here or to go?" "To go, please." "Awesome. It'll be ready in a minute." "Thanks so much." "No problem. Have a good one." "Thanks, you too." Perfect. That's a complete mini conversation that you could hear in any coffee shop in America. Now, let's move to a workplace setting. At work, American English becomes a little more polite but still friendly. You'll hear phrases like, "Hey, do you have a second?" Or, "Could you help me with this real quick?" Americans like to sound approachable, even in professional spaces. So instead of saying, "Give me that report," someone might say, "Hey, when you get a chance, could you send me that report?" Same meaning, but softer and friendlier. Let's practice a few common work expressions. "Hey, do you have a minute?" "Could you give me a hand with this?" "When you get a chance, can you check this for me?" "Thanks, I really appreciate it." These little details make your communication feel professional and warm. That's the American balance. When giving opinions at work, Americans often use polite starters like, "I feel like," "I think maybe," or "What if we tried?" For example, instead of saying, "We should do this," an American might say, "What if we try doing it this way?" Or, "I feel like this option might work better." These phrases invite discussion instead of demanding agreement. It's a subtle but important skill in American-style communication. Now let's switch scenes again. Imagine you're hanging out with friends on a Friday evening. The mood is relaxed, the language is light, and everyone's just chatting casually. You might hear things like, "What's up, dude?" or "How's it going?" or "Man, I'm so ready for the weekend." You can respond with easy, quick lines like, "Not much," "Same here," or "Tell me about it." No need for formal grammar. This is everyday connection talk. Let's do a fun practice round together. I'll say something, and you respond in your natural American tone. "Hey, long week, huh?" Say, "Yeah, totally, I'm exhausted." You doing anything fun this weekend? Say, maybe just chilling at home. I need like 5 more coffees to survive today. Say, right? Same. Awesome. That's exactly how Americans talk when they're relaxed and friendly, light, quick, and full of connection. Now, sometimes conversations can get a little awkward. Maybe you forget someone's name, or there's silence after a sentence. Don't panic. Americans handle those moments with humor or easy phrases. For example, if you forget a name, you can laugh and say, "I'm so sorry, remind me of your name again?" It's polite and honest. If there's a silence, you can smile and say, "Anyway," or, "So, how's everything going?" These small restarts keep the flow going without pressure. Let's talk about something that's super American: compliments. Americans love giving and receiving small compliments. It's part of daily culture. Someone might say, "I love your jacket," or "Your presentation was great," or "You did awesome today." The polite and natural response is simple: "Thanks," or "Thanks, I appreciate that." Not too much, not too little, just a warm acknowledgement. Let's try a few together. "Hey, great job on that project." You say, "Thanks, I really appreciate it." "I love your new haircut." And you say, "Thanks, that's so nice of you." "You're really good at explaining things." You say, "Thanks, that means a lot." See how light and friendly that feels? That's the American way. Positive energy, simple replies. Now let's move to another common setting: casual conversations with new people, maybe at a party, in a class, or while traveling. Americans often use simple, friendly openers like, "So, what do you do?" or "Where are you from originally?" or "How do you know everyone here?" These questions might sound basic, but they're the heart of small social moments. They help people get to know each other without pressure. Let's practice a short dialogue. "So, what do you do?" "I'm an English learner. I've been studying for a while." "Oh, nice. Where are you from originally?" "I'm from your country, but I love learning about American culture." "That's awesome. How long have you been here?" "Just a few months, but I'm really enjoying it." Perfect. That's a friendly, open exchange that builds comfort and trust. Exactly what Americans appreciate in social situations. Now, one powerful thing you can do to keep conversations alive is to share relatable details. For example, if someone says, "I love hiking," instead of saying, "Me too," you can say, "Me too. I went last weekend. It was so refreshing." That small detail gives the other person something to connect with, and suddenly the conversation expands naturally. Americans often do this without thinking. They connect with stories, not just statements. Let's practice this connection-building idea. Person A: "I love coffee." You: "Same. I can't start my day without it." Person A: "I watch too many shows." You: "Ha, same here. I just finished one last night." Person A: "I hate traffic." You: "Right? It drives me crazy every morning." See, you're building connection, not Joe said replying. That's the secret to making your English feel real and alive. Now, let's talk about tone again, because in every setting, tone is what shapes meaning. At work, you sound polite and confident. With friends, you sound relaxed and easygoing. With strangers, you sound kind and curious. The words might be simple, but tone gives them life. Try saying, "That's great," 3 ways. Polite tone, "That's great." Excited tone, "That's great." Sarcastic tone, "That's great." Same words, 3 different feelings. Practice tone awareness. It will instantly boost your fluency. Here's another simple practice you can do daily. Pick one real-life situation each day and act it out in your head or out loud. Maybe you're at a coffee shop, at work, or talking with a friend online. Use the phrases you've learned today. Keep it short, light, and friendly. The more you rehearse real-life English, the faster it becomes automatic. And remember, confidence doesn't mean being perfect. It means being present and kind while you speak. Americans make grammar mistakes too. They just keep talking with a smile. So if you make an error, don't freeze. Just laugh, correct yourself, and move on. That's what makes conversation fun and human. Take a moment to breathe and reflect on how far you've come today. You've learned how Americans talk at coffee shops, at work, with friends, and in everyday life. You've practiced tone, reactions, and connection, the true keys to sounding fluent and natural. And if you're enjoying this practice so far, please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more daily English lessons. Your support really helps us grow and keeps these free lessons coming every day. Now, in the next part, we'll go even deeper. We'll explore how Americans use phrases and expressions for emotion, reaction, and storytelling. The colorful language that gives American English its charm and energy. You're going to love this part, because it's where your English starts to sound alive. Ready? Let's continue. Now, let's explore one of the most expressive sides of American English, the way Americans show emotion, tell stories, and react in conversations. This is where English becomes colorful, alive, and full of personality. Americans don't just speak with words, they speak with feelings, rhythm, and tone. When something surprising happens, an American might say, "No way," or "Are you serious?" or "That's insane." It's not about the words themselves, it's about the energy behind them. When someone shares good news, you might hear, "That's awesome," or "That's amazing." When something sad happens, you might hear, "That's tough," or "I'm sorry to hear that." These short phrases are emotional connectors. They show empathy and excitement in one simple line. Let's practice reacting naturally. Imagine your friend just said they got a promotion. You could respond, "That's amazing." If they say they failed an exam, you might say, "Oh man, that's rough." If they share a funny story, you could respond, "That's hilarious." Notice how these quick reactions carry more emotion than long sentences. That's how Americans keep conversations full of feeling and connection. When Americans tell stories, they love to use expressive words like literally, honestly, seriously, and totally. For example, "I was literally running to catch the bus," or It was totally worth it. These words don't always mean exactly what they say. They add energy and emotion. Try saying, I was totally shocked, or it was seriously the best day ever. Feel the bounce in your voice. That's the American sound. Another key feature of storytelling in American English is rhythm. Americans often use short sentences, pauses, and changes in tone to keep attention. For example, instead of saying, I was late, so I missed the bus, then I had to walk to work, an American might say, I was late, missed the bus, had to walk all the way to work. Those pauses create emotion and flow. Practice breaking your sentences into short, natural beats. It makes your story sound more real and easy to follow. Now let's talk about how Americans use exaggeration for fun. You'll often hear things like, I'm starving when they're just hungry, or it's freezing when it's only a little cold. This kind of exaggeration adds personality and humor to speech. If someone says, I've told you 1,000,000 times, they don't mean 1,000,000, they mean a lot. This is part of American humor and storytelling. It makes language playful and engaging. Try a few of these yourself. I'm starving. I'm dying of laughter. It's freezing in here. That was the best pizza ever. You don't have to be dramatic. Just a little expressive goes a long way. The goal isn't to copy. It's to feel comfortable adding a touch of emotion to your English. Now, let's shift to one of the most common habits in American speech, using filler phrases to keep conversations flowing smoothly. Americans rarely leave silence. They use soft connectors like, you know, I mean, kind of, or like. For example, it was like really funny, or, you know, I think we should go. These phrases give you time to think while still sounding natural. But remember, moderation is key. Use them lightly, not in every sentence. When telling a story or reacting, Americans often switch tone quickly. Their voice rises when they're excited and falls when they finish a point. Try this pattern. So I walk in and I'm like, oh my gosh. And Eve, Ryan's staring at me. You can hear the rhythm. It's storytelling with emotion. That melody is what makes American English sound friendly and full of energy. Another thing you'll notice in American speech is how people connect emotionally using short phrases that show understanding. Words like, I get you, I feel you, or I know, right, are used constantly. They're not just words, they're signals of empathy. When someone says, I know, right? They're saying, I understand exactly how you feel. Practice these expressions with real emotion. I get you. I feel you. I know, right? They'll help you sound more natural and connected. Now imagine you're sharing an experience in American style. Instead of listing facts, you paint a feeling. You might say, so I walk into this cafe and the smell of coffee just hits me. It's warm, cozy, and full of people chatting. I sit down, take a sip, and for a second, everything feels perfect. That's how Americans make simple moments sound alive. They use sensory words like warm, soft, bright, and emotional ones like amazing, fun, or relaxing. Try creating a mini story of your own using this rhythm. Think of your morning today. Maybe it starts like this. I woke up, looked out the window, and saw the sun shining through the curtains. I made my coffee, sat by the window, and just breathed for a second. It felt calm, like the world was finally quiet. You see? It's simple English, but it's powerful because it has emotion and flow. Let's talk a little about laughter, another key part of American-style communication. Americans use laughter to soften moments, express friendliness, or fill silence. It doesn't mean they always find something funny. Sometimes they laugh just to show comfort or connection. So if you hear laughter in conversation, it's often a sign of warmth, not sarcasm. You can do the same. Smile or laugh softly when something feels lighthearted. It helps keep the atmosphere friendly and easy. Now, emotional storytelling also means knowing how to change tone depending on the topic. When talking about something exciting, your voice lifts and becomes faster. When talking about something serious or emotional, it slows down and becomes softer. Try it right now. Say, "I finally got the job," with energy and excitement. Now say, "I really miss home," with warmth and calm. The emotion in your tone changes everything. One thing Americans love doing in conversation is using metaphors and expressions to describe how they feel. You'll hear things like, "I'm over the moon," which means I'm very happy, or "I'm on cloud 9," meaning the same thing. If they're tired, they might say, "I'm beat," or if they're upset, "I'm down." These expressions make speech vivid and personal. Try a few. "I'm over the moon about it." "I'm beat. I need a nap." "I'm down to hang out later." "I'm on cloud 9. These are small, but they make your English sound instantly native and expressive. Before we wrap up this section, let's combine everything into one natural, emotional flow. Think of how Americans react, tell stories, and connect. It's not about perfect grammar or big vocabulary. It's about emotion, rhythm, and honesty. You can talk about your day, your dreams, or even small things. As long as your tone carries warmth, people will feel connected to you. Take a deep breath and imagine yourself chatting with a friend in English. The light laugh, the soft pauses, the natural, "you know," the casual, "totally," the friendly, "I get you." That's the real music of American English. You don't have to copy every phrase. Just let yourself relax into the flow. Now that you understand how Americans use emotion and rhythm, we'll move into one of the most practical parts next: mastering timing, listening, and natural flow in real conversations. These are the skills that help you keep a conversation alive without overthinking. Let's keep going. Now we've reached one of the most powerful parts of learning to speak English like an American: mastering timing, listening, and flow. These are the invisible skills that make your conversations sound natural, effortless, and alive. You've learned rhythm, tone, and expression. Now let's learn how to let conversations breathe. When Americans talk, they don't rush. Even though their speech sounds fast, there's a rhythm, a rise and fall, a pause and reaction. It's like music. They pause after keywords. They let laughter happen. They give space for others to reply. You can do the same. Try pausing slightly before or after important words. For example, say, "That was amazing," or "I can't believe it. Really?" That pause adds drama, rhythm, and confidence. Listening is just as important as speaking. Americans often show their listening by giving small, warm sounds like, "uh-huh," "yeah," "right," or "I know." It's not just about hearing words, it's about responding to them emotionally. When someone tells a story, you can nod, smile, or say softly, "Oh, wow," or "That's crazy." It makes the conversation feel alive. So next time you talk, don't wait for your turn to speak. React while listening. Another key part of American conversation is pacing. Americans change pace depending on mood or topic. When they're excited, they speak faster with rising tone. When they're serious or thoughtful, they slow down and soften their voice. Practice this by reading a short sentence in 2 ways. Fast and happy. "I can't wait for the weekend." Now, slow and thoughtful. "I've been thinking a lot lately." You feel the difference instantly, right? That's how you control emotion through pace. Now let's talk about flow, the magic of keeping a conversation going naturally. Americans often use "so," or "anyway," or "you know what?" to transition smoothly. For example, "So, what are your plans later?" Or, "Anyway, that reminds me, I wanted to tell you something funny." These little transitions help you move between topics without sounding robotic or stiff. They show you're comfortable and relaxed while speaking. To sound even more natural, use rhythm words that connect thoughts smoothly. Words like, "and then," "so yeah," "but still," or "you know." These act like glue for your sentences. Try this. "I was gonna stay home, but then my friend called, and I was like, why not?" That flow of short, linked phrases is what gives American English its musical quality. It feels like talking, not performing. Now, here's something really important. Silence isn't the enemy. Americans may fill pauses with small words, but they also use silence to let things sink in. You don't have to fill every second with sound. A thoughtful pause shows confidence. Try it right now. Take a breath. Imagine you're in a friendly chat, and let there be space before you answer. It gives your words more impact. When it comes to making conversation longer, Americans often use shared experiences to build connection. They might say, "I know, right?" Or, "Same thing happened to me." Or, "Oh, I totally get that." These small responses keep the energy friendly and shared. You can use them too. They make your English sound warm and connected without needing complex sentences. Sometimes you'll hear Americans use soft repetition to show empathy or surprise, like, "Really, really," or "No way, no way," or "That's crazy, that's crazy." It's not about grammar, it's about emotion. Try using it naturally when you feel the moment. It gives your speech real-life rhythm and sincerity. Now let's talk about ending conversations naturally, something that makes a big difference. Americans rarely end suddenly. They use friendly closing lines that feel polite and kind. For example, "All right, I'll let you go," or "Good chatting with you," or "Take care, okay?" These lines keep a warm tone and make the ending feel natural. You could say, "It was great talking to you," or "Let's catch up soon." It's not about finishing perfectly. It's about leaving a good impression. Let's practice closing tone together. Say, "All right, I'll talk to you later." Now say, "Good chatting with you." And finally, "Have a good one." Notice how each one ends with upward, soft tone, friendly and relaxed. That's the American ending melody. Now here's something that will change how you learn from now on. Speaking English is not about memorizing. It's about feeling the rhythm of the language through practice. You can train this by shadowing, listening to native speakers and repeating their rhythm, tone, and pauses in real time. Watch a short clip or listen to a podcast and imitate not just the words, but the music behind them. This technique builds natural fluency faster than any grammar book ever could. And here's a small challenge for you. Pick one short conversation from today's lesson, maybe the coffee shop one or the workplace one, and record yourself saying it naturally. Listen back and notice your tone, your pauses, your confidence. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for flow. Each time you do this, you get a little closer to sounding natural, confident, and expressive. Now, before we wrap up today's practice, I want to remind you of something truly important. Fluency isn't about speaking like someone else. It's about feeling free when you speak. American English is flexible, forgiving, and full of personality. You can mix your accent, your rhythm, your tone, and it will still sound beautiful if it feels real. Think of how far you've come through this lesson. You started by learning greetings and rhythm, then practiced expressions, storytelling, tone, emotions, and flow. You've built the foundation of real conversational fluency, not just words, but connection, confidence, and heart. Take a moment to appreciate that progress. Each time you listen, repeat, and shadow, your English brain grows stronger. Each time you relax while speaking, you step closer to fluency. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll find yourself chatting easily with someone in English, laughing, reacting, feeling comfortable, and you'll think, "Wow, I sound natural now." That day will come faster than you think if you just keep practicing a little every day. Thank you so much for spending this time learning with me today. I'm proud of how far you've come. You're improving every single time you listen and practice, and that's what matters most. Keep going, stay consistent, and never be afraid to make mistakes. Every conversation, every try, every small effort, it all adds up to your fluency journey. Thank you for joining me in today's American English conversation practice. Keep speaking, keep smiling, and keep believing in yourself. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss future lessons. I'll see you again very soon. Until then, keep practicing, stay confident, and remember, your English journey is just getting started.